All right, like I did mention, we want to take you now to Nakuru, where our reporter Ibrahim Karanja is currently actually speaking with one of the officials from the Kenya Agricultural Livestock and Research Organization as we continue the coverage of the Mkulima Expo. Let's listen in on the latest.
It has brought in a new thinking where the CARO is now focusing on trying to develop technologies that can be able to assist farmers adapt to the quickly changing climate conditions and also aspects of diminishing land sizes. Then, of course, there is an aspect of also the population growing. So the demand for livestock and livestock products is also growing. So we have to develop technologies that will be able to increase productivity so that it can be able to meet the food demand for the growing population.
I suppose that means that coming up with or developing or proceed with agriculture, livestock agriculture, with emerging challenges, I-Tech, because I know the land is getting smaller that people are having, less people perhaps are on white-collar jobs. But let's start from here, where we are. The livestock and, to be precise, the cattle that you're keeping at Caldo Naivasha. You were telling me about the different varieties that you're having. And you were telling me, I remember earlier when I came in, I found a group of people, you told me from Narok South, who had come to learn. What is so interesting from here that even brought that group to come and learn? Perhaps you can take us through this livestock that you're having here.
Okay, maybe let me talk about the different types of breeds. We have different types of dairy breeds, but here in Naivasha, our focus has mainly been on dairy breeding with focus on Saiwo breed, which you can see this brown one, and also coming up with intermediate crossing. The black animals you are seeing, that's a cross between Saiwo and Frisian. And the focus actually to increase milk and meat productivity, especially in the rangeland areas, where, of course, the challenges of those particular rainfall and all this. So these are breeds which we have been breeding and improving over time, many years up to this particular point. So it has become more popular among the pastoral communities. Now, as I mentioned before, you can see milk yield has increased from the previous Zebu breeds which were kept 1.5 liters. Now we are talking of an average of 5 liters of milk coming from this particular Zebu animal. Then we have the intermediate ones, which fits very well into the smallholder systems, because they fit well in the smallholder system, combining the characteristics of the Saiwo, which is hardy. Then we have the Frisian, which has actually high milk yield. So we have that intermediate. So that one combines the characteristics into one particular animal, which fits into the smallholder system.
But when you say intermediary, right? What exactly is it? What breed is it? Is it a breed of Saiwo and a combination of something else? What exactly is it?
It's actually a cross between a Frisian and a Saiwo. So you breed the two. So 50% of that animal is Saiwo, 50% of that animal is Frisian. So that's what I mean by intermediate. Yes.
Meaning, to use a layman's language, you can say it's an improved breed.
It's actually an improved, or a layman's language, let me say it's a hybrid. Yeah, that would be the best language to use. It's a hybrid.
From your research of the kind of cattle that we are having, if Opondo can show the Saiwo that we're having and the intermediary, from your research perhaps, what new discoveries or what more advantages do we have by saying going through using or the research of intermediary from the Saiwo? What are the advantages? I mean, look at the udder of the Saiwo here. What advantages do we have?
Now, in the intermediary, what I can say is a combination of the hardiness in the Saiwo, because the Saiwo is very hardy. Under grazing conditions, they are disease tolerant. They can feed on low forages to produce milk. Now, that one is combined with the high productivity of the Frisian. Remember, Frisian cannot fit in certain kind of production system. It's actually a European breed. So when you combine these two into one intermediate, like the crossbreds, then those ones can be able to fit into the production conditions of the smallholder farmers. That's basically what has been done. Then this Saiwo, we have also improved it in terms of selecting it for milk yield. Now, as I mentioned before, on average, like here on station, we are talking of an average of 7.5 liters of milk from this Saiwo without any supplementation, just grazing alone. Whoa. Then there is another characteristic also when it comes to tolerance to diseases. You can see even foot and mouth, there are highly tolerant. They can tolerate the diseases. And this is actually what pastoralists need. They need an animal that can be able to fit into the condition. So what we are doing in terms of research is trying to mimic what is in the pastoral system here in this particular situation. So animals basically they just graze. So we select them based on grazing alone.
And even as you try to mimic, like to use your words, what is in the pastoral system with here, it is important that I mentioned to you that he was telling me about the number of animals, the livestock that has actually been bought last year, and you mentioned about groups of people from, let's focus on Narok, because what we've always been thinking about these pastoral areas is that they don't really focus on, how do I put it, quality livestock. But you mentioned of them coming for bulls here, or for animals, for cattle from here. Perhaps you want to talk about that?
Yes, like of course last year we gave out almost
information coming out of that ongoing interview. That is in Naivasha with my colleague, that is Ibrahim Karanja. We also have with us Philip Keitani standing by at the Calro headquarters here in Loresho, Kiambu County. We also have with us Willie Lusige joining us live from Kakamega County. But let me start off with Philip. So far, what is the mood like? A big day for farmers in Kenya and in Africa.
Thank you very much, Abiagina. Indeed, we are coming to you. We are still at the Calro headquarters in Loresho, and today we are talking. We are this Mkulima Expo 2021, and we are discussing a lot of issues about agriculture. And just after this, we will be talking about food safety and nutritional sufficiency, and why it is important for us to talk about these issues. And the expo will still continue until tomorrow at a time like this, but for now we are getting ready for the last session of the day. Thank you.
We also shall be crossing over later on to Willie Lusige, who is in Kakamega County, as we continue with our coverage for the Mkulima Expo 2021. For now, we go on a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be taking you live to Kakamega to also just get a sense of how are farmers battling with the coronavirus pandemic, and what are some of the new solutions out there for those interested in agriculture. All this after this break.